What's going on? This is Kareem from DJBooth.net, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a full rundown video review of the new Roland DJ-808 professional 4-channel digital DJ controller with the Roland TR sequencer built right in. So what's really cool about this controller, obviously, is the TR sequencer built right in. You have your sounds from the 606, 707, 808, and 909 built right into this bad boy right here. It's a full-featured Serato DJ controller. It has almost every single feature right here at your fingertips, right on the controller. You have all of the pads, all of the controls, all of the knobs, really professional jog wheels, and a really efficient setup all around. It's really fun. One of the funnest DJ controllers that I've used in years, especially thanks to that TR sequencer drum machine right at the top of the controller. It's a really cool controller, and we're going to get right into everything that makes this controller different, makes it cool, and makes it something new and fresh to bring to the DJ industry. So without further ado, let's check out what is under the hood. So first off, first impressions, this is a really big DJ controller. It's massive. You can see it's taking up a lot of the real estate on this table that I'm sitting at right now. It's really big and everything is nicely spaced out. It's made of mostly plastic construction, which is one of my minor gripes with the unit. I wish it would have been a little bit more heavy, a little more robust. The underside is all mainly plastic. The side panels are plastic. You do have some metal here on the face of the unit, but again, mostly overall feels a little hollow inside and a little plasticky. I would have liked for them to make this more metal, a little bit more solid. But having said that, everything else is really good quality. You have real metal posts underneath all of your knobs. All your faders feel like they're going to last. It doesn't feel like it's going to break anytime soon, and it does feel like it's built with quality in mind overall. You have a really good, simple, intuitive layout, and a layout that many other DJs are going to feel comfortable with if they use DJ controllers within the last few years. You have your 8 velocity sensitive pads for each deck. You have your faders positioned exactly where they would be for the 4-channel configuration. You have your 3-band EQ. You also have your filter knobs at the bottom, and then you have your effects controls here at the top, and all the way at the top section gives you your 909, 808, 707, 606 TR sequencer sounds, and you also have your VVT voice changer here up at the top as well. So really cool controller, really full featured, and really easy to set up. As you can see on the back, we have all your input and output options. All the way to the left, you have your microphone. You also have your master outputs, which are XLR, RCA, and you also have your booth out, which is your 1/4 inch. Then you have RCA inputs for channel 1, 2, 3, 4. You have a MIDI out, old school MIDI out, and you also have your USB hosts for 3 and 4, and then you have your PC connection all the way over here to the left. In the front, you have your headphone jacks. You have both 1/4 inch and you have the mini. You also have your selection, so that way you can select exactly what all your channels are working through, and you can also select which side of the fader each of your channels are residing on as well. So really intuitive and easy to use on the bottom. You also have your volume controls and your mixing controls for your Q section on the front as well. Again, really big controller, really heavy, really full featured. Only wish it was more metal in it, but overall, really cool, really good first impressions. Lots of connectivity options and lots of ways to play using the DJ-808. The setup is also fairly simple. All you have to do is connect all of your input-output options. When you're ready to use Serato DJ, just go onto the Serato DJ website, download the Serato DJ full-featured software for absolutely free. Everything comes bundled right here with the DJ-808. Then you plug in your USB to your computer, and you're pretty much ready to go. You can even use your top sequencer piece without using Serato or a computer at all. Just plug it in, plug in your monitors, and you're ready to start sequencing right there on the fly. Alright guys, so here it is. The big, long-awaited review of the Roland DJ-808. And as you can see from the startup, it's a really big controller. 4 channels of control you have here. It's definitely for Serato DJ. It works perfectly with Serato DJ. It has a lot of features built in that's not on other controllers right here to work nicely with Serato DJ. And it's just a really full featured controller in and of itself without the addition of the top panel here, which is the Roland TRS sequencing machine. The sequencer has built in it TR-909, 808, 707, and 606 drum kits. And it's really, really fun to use, really easy to use. And all of this can be synced with whatever you're using to play within the Serato DJ software as well. Really cool setup, really easy to use. On the front panel, again, there is channel selector, so that way you can select the crossfader side that the channel will reside on, either A or B. And you also have the different selectors on the bottom where you can select the PC line, USB, or phono inputs that you guys are using on the back of the device. You're allowed to use turntables on channel 1 and channel 2 because they are grounded, and they also have the preamp available in the phono RCA jacks in the back. You also have your crossfader adjustments in the front, which include the curve control for the crossfader, and it also includes a channel fader notch switch as well, so that way you can change the actual curve of the channel faders as well. The crossfader itself is really slick. It's really nice to move and has really fluid motion to it, but it does have kind of a longer cut-in distance. So if you really like to scratch, I would definitely upgrade the fader to an InnoFader, which is also compatible with the unit, and it's very easy to use or replace these. As you can see, you have screws right here on the face, so that way you can open this up and replace that with an InnoFader or any other type of fader that you guys see fit. You have the line faders, which have a little bit more resistance to them. They work very well for mixing and for fading in your different sources that you have. And you also have your TR and sampler volume right in the middle. TR, again, is your sequencer at the top, and you'll be able to use this to control the volume of your sampler and your sample banks from the SP6 within Serato DJ or within the TR. Really cool feature to have your own volume control right here on the device. Next up, you have your Q controls, which allows you to cue what's up in your headphones, and Key VT. You also have your channel effects. You have dub echo, jet, noise, and filter. Similar to some of the Pioneer offerings, you're allowed to use these effects knobs, low and high, in order to change the filter, the noise, the dub echo, or the jet properties. Really, really cool to use, really easy to use, kind of like the sound color effects on the Pioneer range. You have your master level in the middle here. You have your booth monitor knob over here, so that way you can change independently the volumes of your master or your booth volume controls. You have your low, mid, and high EQs. These are not full cut EQs, by the way. They do have very nice sound, very robust. You know, Roland's really, really good in the sound technology department, so these EQs sound very, very nice. They also have individual line level meters for each of your individual levels, and then you have a master level right here in the middle as well. All the way at the top, you have your trim or gain knob controls, and then above that you have your buttons here, 1 and 2, in order to activate your different effects banks on each of the channels. Next up, you have load buttons up here at the top, so that way you can load really quickly using the browse knobs and the back and forward, add, prepare, and back in order to navigate through all of your files and all your folders or your playlists. And in order to load, you just click one of these buttons at the top. You can also sort your music by key, BPM, song, and artist. When you press shift and hit one of these load buttons, it will sort your library or your current playlist that is on the screen in Serato by key, BPM, song, or artist. Really, really cool touch. Really nice for the working DJ to be able to have those options right there at their fingertips. Next up, we're going to discuss the decks. The decks are really, really full featured, really, really nice decks. And the first thing that jump at you with these decks are the actual controlled jog wheels. They're all black. They have a really, really nice slick feel to them. They really work really, really well. These are one of the best jog wheels that I've ever used. Very low latency, and they're very, very quick and perfect with their accuracy. It's even better than the fader that is on board here. So that is why you will notice the upgrade need for the fader pretty quickly if you're a scratcher, because they can't really keep up with these very high rated jog wheels. So just let you guys see that really quick. So very, very, very accurate jog wheels you can see here. They also have a needle indicator within the middle of the jog wheel, so you can see at a glance exactly where your needle is, so you can do different turntablist style tricks and go back and forth and do your juggles and so on and so forth. All the way at the bottom you have your pads. These are RGB backlit pads. Very, very responsive. They have a nice rubbery, squishy feel to them, and no matter where you hit the button, either on the outside pad, inside pad, they always respond very, very nicely. You have your play pause button here, and if you have a shift and press that, you'll get a stutter. You also have your cue button here, and then you have your different features for the hot cues, rolls, TR, and sampler. Hot cues are just as you can see. It will start playing the song right from the hot cue. You also have a cue loop. It will play a loop from the hot cue. Then you have a roll, which allows you to roll like a loop and still keep on playing underneath when you let go of the button. You have a slicer here as well. You guys already seen many of my reviews before, so you know exactly how these things work. What's kind of new here is TR and pattern. TR will exactly let you use the TRS here at the top. And instead of playing your sequences on the provided 16 buttons, you guys can use the 16 that you guys see here if you want to use your playback here on the RGB pads instead of these harder style rolling buttons at the top. So really cool and different way to use it here. You also have your sampler, and underneath your sampler you have pitch play, which allows you to pitch up and down on your hot cue depending on which way you want to go with your pitch. And you can also do some really cool tricks with that as well. This is all built in here. This already comes with pitch in time DJ, and you also have a key sync and range down and up here, so that way you can lock the key and you can change the key down and up range in order to get it exactly how you want it right while you're DJing on the fly. You also have a loop section here. You have your auto loop. You can half the loop, you can grow the loop. You also have your manual in and outs, and then you can save your loops as well. Then you have your parameter controls, which will adjust the different parameters of your different loop lengths, your different loop rolls, and also your sampler parameters as well. Next up, you have your shift button. This is the same on both sides. Then you have your dual deck button, so you can use both decks at the same time. You can use deck 3 or deck 1 on the left, and then on the right you can have deck 2 or deck 4. And again, you can scratch and manipulate them both at the same time with the dual deck feature. That was made popular on one of the older Pioneer DDJ controllers. You also have your vinyl control here, or you can reverse it as well, so you can turn your vinyl control on and off. You also have slip mode, which you can enable and disable, and you also have censor, so that way you can just censor for a real short period of time if you have curse words or something like that in your mix. You also have full grid adjustments here, so that way you can adjust your grids on the fly. You can adjust your grids, set your grids, slide the whole grid, because you want to make sure your grids are right, spot on, so that way everything is in sync, especially when you're using this with the TRS sequencer at the top. Next up, you have a nice big oversized pitch slider. Really, really good for using this to find your accurate mix for those of us who don't use sync and they still want to really use that pitch slider. It's a real long, nice pitch slider that is available here. You have your standard FX controls on each side, FX Bank 1, FX Bank 2, where you have your 3 different effects. You can also press Shift and the FX select on and off button, and that will allow you to switch between different effects on the fly. And you also have your knobs here to control the parameters of the effects, and you can also control the beats of the effects, the intervals of the effects. And you can also change the BPM on the fly by hitting the tap mode, and you can also change the FX mode by being a singular effect or being stacked layered effects. Next up, all the way at the top, what everybody's been kind of waiting for is that TRS. This is the TR sequencer, and in the sequencer, it's very, very powerful here. It can do everything you need it to do. It has all the way at the top the value, which shows you the BPM you're currently operating at. Then you also have a knob here, so that way you can turn through the values to change the BPM and get it dialed in just to where you want it. You can also change the scale, shuffle, and sync. This will allow you to sync with your Serato software and everything that's going on down here when you just press the sync button. And then you have the actual sequencer machine itself. Within this sequencer, you have a record, so you can record your sequencer. You also have a pattern button, so you can rearrange the patterns. You have a shift button up here to change between the different properties that is within the TR sequencer. For example, at top you can either have 909 sounds, 808 sounds, 707 sounds, or 606 sounds. You can also change the bank in which you're in, and you can also access the 8 Serato samplers that are here as well. And you have bank A, B, C, and D for your Serato sampler. Really, really cool, easy to use, and that way you can use your sampler buttons in order to, or your sampler edits in order to make sequences instead of using the built-in sounds like the 909, 808, 707, and the 606. You also have a clear button, so you can clear what you just did a second ago. And then you have individual volume control knobs for your bass drum, snare drum, closed hat, and open hat. All the way to the left, you have your VT, and this is your voice transformer where you can do some cool pitch things and change your reverbs, and it's very powerful in and of itself, very fun to use. You have an on-off switch and a ducking switch also, which allows you to lower the volume of everything else, so that way you can talk here on the mic. You also have a high-low EQ and volume control knob. This was very, very fun. You have your auto pitch here, which is kind of like your auto tune. A lot of fun to use, and it's really cool that they threw it here in on this controller. A lot of mobile DJs are going to really like that extra feature. So for the drum machine here, the sequencer on the top, really cool sounds, the iconic sounds that everyone loves. Give you a quick demo of that so you can see how it works. Really, really cool stuff. This is one of the funnest controllers that I've ever had to deal with. I had the most fun in DJing in a very, very long time right here on the DJ-808. Had a lot of fun, and it's really one of the best controllers for Serato DJ, even by itself without the TR drum machine, but it's damn expensive. But I love it in and of itself. It was a lot of fun to use, really, really great. So let's head on over to that conclusion and see all of the breakdown on the pros and cons.
So in conclusion, the new Roland DJ-808 is one of my new favorite Serato DJ controllers ever. And probably the main reason for that statement is because this bad boy has that Roland real TR sequencer and VT transformer, voice transformer right here built in at the top of the device, and you can sync all of this up with everything that you're doing within Tractor with a press of a button. Really cool, really, really fun to use. You can use this on the fly with or without connecting it to a computer, and it's just really, really, really fun. A new way to bring new life into your performances as a DJ. It also is a really full-featured Serato DJ controller. You get all 4 decks of control. You have all your effects controls that you can need here. You also have your 16 velocity sensitive pads. You have excellent jog wheels with some of the best feel that I've ever felt before. It has really great latency times, and it's just a really accurate jog wheel overall. You also have these long throw pitch sliders. You also have all of your famous features on your pads and then some. You can also use these pads down here to work with the official TR sequencer at the top. Instead of using your sequencer buttons here, you can use the pads down here. You also have other features with the pads that you don't have on other controllers, such as the pitch play, meaning you can use these pads in order to go up and down your pitch range while you're doing new remixes and sequences. Really cool information and different things that you can do with that there. Then you also have a pattern in here, so that way you can pattern different things in your sequencer. It's really cool. It has new features here that you don't have on others, and you also have your pitch and time features right here with buttons on board to change the pitch of the song that you're about to bring in on the fly. Really cool stuff. You also have lots of input and output options. You have all of the outputs you can need, and all of your channels have inputs on them as well. And you also have those USB host ports, which will allow you to link other Roland compatible gear with the 808. You can put other things like your TR-303 machine on here because you don't have a 303 built in, and you can actually stream and work back and forth between the two. On the downside, the construction feels a little bit hollow to me. I would have liked to see a full metal body here, a full metal chassis, something that felt and a little bit more sturdy. Like when you knock on it, you can kind of feel a little echo in there, and the sides are a little plasticky feeling. I wish this was all metal construction, and that would just make me feel that much more confident with the whole controller. Also, this thing is pretty darn expensive. It costs a lot of money at the time of writing this review, so the price will really drive it up and make it a little bit unaffordable to some people who would probably have fun using this cool machine. So for more on the written review or the review summary, you guys can head on over to www.djbooth.net/DJS. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up if you like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe because we have a lot more reviews coming for you guys within the next month. And as always, thanks for watching.